Hello, everybody. Welcome to Profiling Evil Live. I'm Mike King, and I thought I'd just take a few moments and jump on and talk with a few friends about what's been happening in the Barry Morphew case. And right off the bat, just say that there's not anything new or breaking. Just wanted to take some time to answer some of your questions and chat about how the case is going. I'd like to bring in my guest, Lauren Scharf from Fox 21 News. And Lauren, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you taking time. We haven't really done a live for a while, and we were texting back and forth a week ago, and we thought with everything that's happened with the arrest warrant on Barry Morphew being sealed or remaining sealed, and just the fact that we hadn't chatted, I thought it'd be kind of fun to get on and just kind of catch up.
Yeah, sounds good.
You know, I was interested as we looked at the arrest warrant, and I want to come back to that in a minute, but I thought I would share with you some really amazing news that I received today, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen. You may not know it, but I have actually been notified in the mail that I have won $10.5 million from a secret admirer in Indonesia.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice.
This is really exciting, and she's right. The message came as quite a surprise because we don't know each other, but she is a businesswoman from Indonesia dealing with gold exportation, and she has decided to hand over her sum of $10.5 million to me. Now, here's the caveat. She wants me to only keep half of that and promise her that I'll put at least half into orphanages and things for those kinds of responses. So what do you think?
I think that's a big scam. I don't think you should believe this woman.
So, I don't know why, but because I, like you, get these so often, and it just drives me crazy. And I think, how could anyone ever fall for this drivel? And yet, I in my day job, I actually work with the federal government on fraud issues, and the numbers are staggering. How many people still today are falling for this kind of malarkey and giving people their bank account numbers and other kinds of things. And I'm sure you've written stories about this in the past.
Yeah, we do a lot of scam stories. And it's so sad to hear from victims, and they, thought that their loved one was in captivity or, behind jars or jail, and that they needed, to bail them out. And it was, and they send over thousands of dollars, and they'll never see that money again.
That's really the one that is the most successful, isn't it? Is an elderly grandparent who can't hear real well. They think that they're talking to their grandchild, and they end up wiring money and then giving access to their account. So people, if you get that email that I just got today, please throw it away. There's no sense reporting it anywhere, because I think it's just a big black hole anymore in reporting. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the Morphew case and what's been going on. But hey, Lauren, I don't know if you were aware of this, but I just got a text from Tyson Draper, and he's in Salida today, driving around. I just thought it would be fun to bring him on, because I haven't talked to him for a long time on the air. We talk periodically off the air, but let's bring Tyson on and catch up on what he's doing. Tyson, how are you doing?
Hey,
what's going on, guys?
It's nice to see you.
Hey, this is what I'm doing right here, Mike, as a matter of fact.
You've got to get out more.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. But no, I'm taking a breather here, and I just thought it'd be kind of cool to chat with you guys. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good.
You doing well, Lauren? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's so. Tyson, did you like the book?
I love the book. Yeah, it was very interesting. I didn't know a lot of that stuff about the Zion Society, all that stuff that was going on inside their little circle there. And it was interesting to read about how you guys went in there and broke that all up. So nice work.
Well, that's awesome that you'd read it, and you know, I have to call out Lauren, who she actually, when she read it, she tweeted something really nice. And Tyson, I know that you put on your channel some very complimentary things. So thank you so much to both of you, and that's just really funny that you are driving around in Colorado with that book in your hand. But that's good. Go to the bookstores and make sure that they have it on their shelves while you're there. But so, what are you doing? What are you doing at Salida, Tyson?
Hey, Mike, are you guys getting a crackling sound?
I'm hearing it. Yeah, I'm hearing it. I think if I'm going to just mute you for a second. And well, let's see. And you know what? I think it is on your side, Tyson, the crackling. So we'll just live with it. It might be the fact that you got poorer bandwidth in Salida. We'll just live with the crackling for a minute and assume you're sitting by a nice cozy fire or something.
Hey,
it's super hot here in Colorado.
It is, Lauren. Well, you know, when I left Arizona, it was 106. Oof. And so I'm thinking, well, I'll get up to Colorado and cool down a little bit. But man, it's been hot here too.
Wow. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Well,
no, so what are you doing in Salida?
I just wanted to come up and kind of poke around a little bit, Mike. You know me, I don't sleep very well with, you know, a lot of this stuff on my brain constantly, you know, and in the wake of Barry Morphew being arrested, I thought it might have been a good time to kind of sneak up there and just kind of poke around, you know, in a little more depth and try to see what we could come up with. You know, I would love to try to find Suzanne. That's what we're doing.
I think that's really neat, Tyson. And you know, I mean, I think when I first started my channel, you were one of the first YouTubers that I collaborated with, and you kind of rocked the world with your video where you interviewed Barry. And it's probably been pretty gratifying for you to see him end up being charged. And I hope you're doing really well there as you're skulking around and talking to people. I look forward to seeing what you report on. I assume you'll be putting some videos up on your channel. And
well, they're not what they used to be per se, because I haven't been, they're just short, but I did film some stuff that I thought people might be interested in as we got onto Barry Morphew's property. I was able to see some things that I felt like were interesting or out of the ordinary. And I don't know if it was law enforcement that went in and created some of the things that we saw, or if it was Barry, you know. So I'm going to kind of put it out there and let people decide and use their own brains and their own imagination with it. But I'm just gonna kind of show people, like I was telling Lauren earlier. I was texting her and I told her that, you know, the people that have stuck by our sides deserve to know, you know, what we're up to and what we're trying to do. And so I'm putting that stuff up for them. You know, I really appreciate those great people. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Lauren, I don't know if you have any questions for Tyson, but Tyson, I want you to know, I appreciate our friendship, and I appreciate the way in which you're doing things right now. I've watched a lot of YouTubers that are kind of boots on the ground like you are, and some of them are going too far for my comfort. And I just appreciate that you ask for permission and you talk to people. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but.
Well, you know, I'm honestly, Mike, I'm getting out of the whole YouTube thing. I just need a break from it. And I don't know if it's going to be permanent forever, but at this point, it kind of feels like it is. It's kind of ran its course for me. I really enjoy the people, you know, and the rapport that I have with them, like you and Lauren and so many other people that I've met. But I don't like a lot of the other stuff that comes with it, the negativity, the trolling, the other stuff. And I know that's just a part of all of it, but it's just not something that I really want in my life forever. You know, this has been a great ride, but I'm kind of looking at doing some other things. So.
Well, good. And I assume you'll continue to teach. You've got summer off, but you've been trying some other platforms out too, I think. Yeah, and folks, by the way, Tyson's only going to be on for another minute or two, so if you got a question or two you want to throw at him, I'll watch the chat here, Tyson, while you're kind of sharing what you're up to.
All right. Well, no, I'm still teaching. I did sign my contract for next year. I plan on doing it, but again, our world is so topsy turvy, even in the education world, with all the the curriculum and things that they're starting to introduce. And so, I mean, everybody's future seems to be kind of uncertain at this point. So I'm just gonna take it one day at a time, Mike. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Lauren, anything you want to ask Tyson, and we'll let him get on his way. Other than, I'll tell you what, it just makes me smile to see your face. Yeah, and you've grown your hair out again. I'll have to counsel with you and get you to cut your hair back again, but we'll work on that later.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of torn on it again. I don't know what to do with it.
Well, Tyson, I just wanted to say I saw your last video. I was just curious, what made you come to Salida and how long are you staying?
Well, I just, having taught for the last 10 months, I've been kind of restricted to one area. I haven't been able to get out and travel like I like to, and the wanderlust that I have building up inside of me just kind of got the best of me. It's getting really hot in Arizona. I really like Colorado. And plus, I constantly think about the Suzanne Morphew case. And so I just kind of naturally put all those things together and said, let me travel up there, put my boots on the ground and just kind of see, if I could take it one step further and get closer to the Morphew property. Maybe we can turn up some clues or just kind of, satisfy some people's curiosity, my own also, so that's the reason I'm here. And I plan on staying here in Colorado probably for at least another week. So.
Well, Tyson, the votes are coming in. Nobody wants you to cut your hair. They want you to be the same person you've always been, which I wouldn't want to change the person you've always been. You just are wonderful. Thank you so much for the friendship and the association over the last year. And you know that you're always welcome to bomb in on Profiling Evil to say hello, and we'll kind of watch and see what you post. And then I don't believe for a minute that you're going to get out of the game, but we'll see what happens next.
All right, guys. Hey, you know what? I want to say to you, Mike, and you, Lauren, thank you for everything that you've done. It's been a long journey getting Barry Morphew behind bars. We've had a lot of sleepless nights. We've had a lot of gut punches along the way, but we're still here, and I consider us all friends. And I just want to say thank you, guys. And if you don't ever see me on another one of these lives, then I just want to say thank you for the ride, man. It's been fun.
Well, thank you, buddy. And we better see you on these, at least stopping to send us pictures of you in Hawaii or something and tell us how you're doing. So thanks. Keep texting, and Tyson, let's just not accept that you won't be coming back. We look forward to when you come back. How's that?
All right. Hey, I'll be putting another couple of short videos up later if you guys want to go over and check those out. My channel's not monetized, and I don't pay attention to how many subscribers I have or any of that stuff. I don't care about it. I just want to simply put some information out there for you guys to enjoy. So take care, y'all.
That's great. Make sure you send the back office. We've already got all the links, but when you post something, send it, and we'll make sure that we share it in the community.
Good to see you, Tyson.
All right, tell Tyler, you too, Lauren. Tell Tyler I said hi, and you guys take care.
I will. He's on a Zoom call with his actual day job, so he couldn't be with us. But thanks. Take care, Tyson. What a good guy. I just really appreciate Tyson. He's just an amazing soul. Lauren, he talked a little bit about just what's going on in Salida, and the big news, of course, last week was the affidavit and the fact that it remains sealed. And I didn't know if you wanted to take a moment and talk about a couple of things in there, but there were a couple of things that I thought were kind of interesting that I'd love to have your thoughts on. I guess the first thing was that the judge made a ruling on an affidavit that was filed on May 5th based on a law that was signed into law on May 10th. Have you done any digging on that?
I mean, I haven't. I need to do more digging on it. Obviously, I was, the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition did send me that, this is one of the first times that procedure 55.1 has been used. The new rule, like you said, went into effect May 10th. So I do need to do a couple more investigation work, I guess I should say, into that. I do think it's interesting also. I mean, no one has talked about of these crimes, if the death penalty is on the table or not. I know in March of 2020, the Colorado legislature passed a bill to repeal the death penalty, but that was only for crimes committed after July 1st of 2020. And we know that this crime was before that time.
Yeah, so that's really kind of important, because what that potentially could mean is if the DA were to push the facts, they could seek a death penalty. Mm-hmm. It could become a capital murder case rather than a life without parole case. Mm-hmm. That's a really big deal, quite frankly. Yeah. I found it kind of interesting in here as well. And there were a couple of things. I went and read through some of the case log again, because I'm a little bit of a nerd in that particular area. But it boiled down, the decision to keep the record sealed boiled down to three things. Number one, the judge had a concern of this being inflammatory information contained in the affidavit that would somehow prejudice Barry Morphew, and I think in part prejudice a potential jury pool. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about that in a moment. The second is the protection of the alleged victims, which includes the daughters, and again, that getting him a fair and impartial jury to deal with. I want to maybe first chat about the daughters, and I don't think anyone can argue that the children, their lives have been turned upside down with the loss of their mother and now the loss of their father, who, a child is still a child. They want to believe their parent, and they've got to be dealing with a lot of emotion here. I can see wanting to protect them. The challenge is that there is so much information that's already out. I don't know what more protection there could be.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember one of the daughters is under 18. She doesn't turn 18 until August, and I believe maybe that could be another reason why the judge is wanting to keep the affidavit sealed until the end of August, to allow her to then be an official adult, to make that decision whether or not to read the affidavit or not.
Yeah, and it would have been kind of tacky before she graduated and walked from high school to, I mean, I don't know if tacky is the right word, but to me it would have been tacky to put that out if you can just kind of hold off and do it a little later. Did she in fact end up walking and graduating with her class and participating in all of that? I hope she got to do that.
Yeah, it's a big moment in someone's life to graduate and get that diploma. And I was told by people who attended the graduation in Salida that she did in fact walk. I do know that she did not participate in any of the church's celebration of the seniors for her class, but I do know that she did get to walk.
That's cool. You don't know what the response was. I mean, with COVID still, I don't know, did they read each name as the kid walked across the stage and there was a big audience full of people? I hope that they cheered like crazy for this kid, because she's not responsible for everything that's happened.
She's had a rough year to go from, not knowing where her mom is to now finding out that her dad is behind bars. That's really tough. And so so I hope there was a lot of cheers for her.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was wondering. I would hope that the audience went crazy when she walked across. Well, the second thing, of course, was I'm sorry, that was the second thing. That prevent the release of inflammatory information is the second thing I wanted to talk about. Now, I know that there are going to be some bombshells in that affidavit when it comes out. It only makes sense because there always is. But how much more inflammatory can this case get? I mean, that's it kind of makes you wonder if there was just more weight put on protecting the kids than all of this other stuff, which still needs to be talked about.
Yeah, and I mean, victims, what other victims are there? There's, Suzanne's family, the Mormons. There's also witnesses, the people that are going to possibly testify if it goes to trial. And those people, they need to be protected as well. So I think there's multiple victims besides, obviously, Suzanne's daughters.
Yeah, and I get lots of people requesting if I know how the family's doing and stuff, and I actually have a pretty regular contact. I know that you do as well. The family is so grateful for the Mormon family is so grateful for the outpouring of love, and I think feel even the sustaining influence of the prayers of people all around the world that don't know this family, but they certainly know the situation the family's in. And I know that you and Melinda chat periodically. I don't know. Is that the same sense you're getting that I'm getting from them?
Yeah, they're just so thankful for all of the support it's gone international. People from Sweden to England to Australia, all across the globe are really thankful, or are really caring about this case and really wanting to see an end. They really want to see Suzanne be found. She's still, her body is still not discovered, and people want a closure, some type of closure for the family. And I hope that I do know that I believe law enforcement will continue to search for Suzanne.
Yeah. Folks, I'm talking with Lauren Scharf of Fox 21 News. Lauren has been slipping into the Profiling Evil studios regularly since this case broke, and has been probably one of the most influential reporters on the Morphew case. Actually, you have become a champion for Suzanne over the last year, haven't you?
Well, thank you. It started out just, curiosity as to what happened, and then it kind of blew into this, where I'm talking to you.
Well, I actually texted the family just before we started, and one particular family member is on right now listening, and so folks weigh in and wish them well. But he just sent a note and said, please thank everyone for keeping Suzanne's memory alive, and we pray that we find her. And so that's really cool that, number one, that they would take time to listen to this today, but most importantly to respond back. So folks, shout them out, because they're in the room listening. You have had an opportunity to also look at this affidavit, or the judge's order to keep the affidavit sealed. Of course, the last question in the affidavit as to why it should remain sealed has to do with getting a fair trial in Salida. And I'm going to just throw this out, because you got two crack attorneys from Denver. I'm having a hard time believing they're not going to say there is no way I can get a fair trial in Salida. Let's move the venue. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you the same question. Do you think the attorneys for Barry Morphew are going to want to move it closer to them, or even further away, like Fort Collins, or areas part of this in part of Colorado that people haven't heard much about Barry Morphew or the Suzanne Morphew case? But time will tell. I guess we won't know until they file that motion.
You know, Lauren, it's like the judge said in the trial, though, when he was giving this ruling, not in the trial, but in this hearing when he was giving the ruling, is if anyone thinks this isn't a statewide, a national, a global story already, they got swamp water between their ears, because this is something that's known all over, and even in the notification and this order to keep the affidavit sealed, the redaction was incredible. But the court says, "Hey, this document, this affidavit, is 130 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
In 30 years, the court has not seen a criminal case with this much information included in an affidavit." And that DA has given them a boatload of stuff that they're going to have to figure out what to do with. And I think that in and of itself is really interesting, because the judge said it's going to require both sides, the prosecution and the defense, to participate in what's redacted in the affidavit when it does come out. And we may end up with fewer words in the affidavit that aren't crossed out than are crossed out.
Yeah, it might be just pages and pages of black.
Yeah.
But hopefully not. Hopefully the people get to read what was actually in those 130 pages. Yeah,
well, one in the chat just a minute ago said, can they keep the affidavit sealed even after the trial? Actually, it won't even matter after the trial, because everything that is in that affidavit will probably come out at some point or another. Now, there are pieces of evidence and pieces of the affidavit that the defense has already challenged that would not be admissible. The court has acknowledged that, in their opinion, some things under Colorado law would not be admissible. But the things that matter, folks, everybody's going to know about, whether it comes out in the affidavit or comes out later in court. But I still believe that at the end of August, we're going to see the affidavit. Don't you?
I do believe. I mean, I've searched to find any, case that there wasn't, that the affidavit remained sealed until it came to trial, and I haven't found any of that of anything like that. I haven't, especially in Colorado.
Yeah. So I want to just pop this up. Rabbit Culture says, where can we find it? You can't find it because it hasn't been released yet. If you're looking for the judge's order, you can find that by going on to the court and getting the document, and all of that is public record. So you can go in and find that.
There's a tab, if you want to tell your viewers, that is under, Colorado court system. If you type in Chaffee County, there's cases of interest, and Barry Morphew's is on there, and you can see all of the documents that have been publicly released, and it's on there. And once that affidavit will be released, it will be there as well.
Yeah, that's great. In fact, I just seen if I could
put the link in there. Uh-oh. Looks like I lost Mike. Hopefully Mike will be joining us back. I don't know what happened to him. He was trying to add the court documents where everyone can see them. Let me see if I can just pull it up. If you go to Colorado Judicial Branch, and then you should be able to, under courts, you can look up, go to Chaffee County, and then it's the number of the case, and then the people of state of Colorado versus Barry Morphew is what it is. Oh, you found it.
Yeah, so I pasted it in the chat, folks. I hit quit on the screen, which is it's the fear of the back office whenever I'm left to my own devices here. I
was like, I think I'm just by myself in here now.
Yeah, you should have changed some things. This was your chance to clarify some things.
Or just start talking about, you and your Dr. Pepper addiction or something.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, the affidavit just wraps up that the judge says, nope, we're not going to release it. 7 days after the hearing on the 24th, then we will. So theoretically, by the end of the month, that should be released. And hopefully, I mean, word on the street are there are a few bombshells that are going to be pretty darn disruptive, and when it's made public, we can talk about that further. I think, don't you think? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So another thing that was kind of interesting, I wanted to go back and talk about. We spent a lot of time this year talking about Suzanne Morphew. We've talked about other cases. There are so many missing person cases in Colorado, so many unsolved homicides, so many unidentified bodies, and it's replicated 50 times across the state and hundreds and thousands of times around the world. And it's kind of frustrating because the Lauren DeMolos in Florida, or the Leela Cavitz, they don't get talked about as much as when you get these people that just seem to have everything going for them, and then all of a sudden their life is stripped from them. How do we change that? And while we're talking about that, Lauren, I just wanted to bring up, this was a map I actually created some time ago. I think I shared it with you at one time, but it is a map of missing people in Colorado and cold cases in Colorado. Now, I haven't updated it for a while, but 1,790. I mean, now times this by across the country, and I've said this statistic before, folks. Please forgive me for saying it again, but each year in the United States, there's like 875,000 people who disappear, and they just disappear. And I don't know why I lost that there, Lauren, but
It's okay.
And statistically, according to the National Bureau of Justice, 87% of those 875,000 will make it home. So that means that about 104,000 people disappear off the map, just like Suzanne Morphew did. Some are, they get mad and they write a letter and say, I'm never coming back, and they disappear and something happens. In other cases, it is what the Suzanne Morphew case feels like. But this map just kind of settles that in and sends the message of how dire this problem is across the country, and why I think programs like YouTube channel True Crime Stories, the news that you do, Lauren, why this is so vital, because that's where the leads come that maybe tie these cases together. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's super important if a loved one or a family member or even a friend, if they go missing, how important it is for the community to know about it, for local reporters to know about it. And so I encourage people, if you know someone who's missing or want to help someone or family member or family friend, that they have loved ones that are missing, to reach out to local reporters to say, hey, this is someone who's important to us and we need the help. We need help, and I mean, sometimes local reporters, we have to do day turns, which are, really quick turnarounds. But sometimes we get the time that we get to spend on cases like Suzanne Morphew, where we get to spend more time investigating and finding individuals that might have seen her last, or heard of a tip that didn't get followed up on, or things like that could help be the one tip that law enforcement needs to help solve it or find the person responsible, or things like that. And I think it's just really important that social media is powerful as well. I can't forget about that too. Just if you hear someone, blasted on social media that's missing, and you never know who you might reach and help law enforcement and the family get closure in their loved ones, missing case or things like that.
It's amazing the impact of social media. And Maureen, thank you for that super sticker. That's really kind of you. I wanted to go through and just look at some of the comments in here, Lauren, and let us maybe just talk to people. But what kind of questions have you had? You and I haven't had a chance to talk much lately. And usually you have something that you, with that reporter mind of yours, pin me against the wall on.
I mean, I guess, do you think that there is going to be a change of venue with this Suzanne Morphew case?
You know, personally, I think it's going to be really hard to find a jury in Chaffee County or in the district that doesn't know the Barry Morphew, who Barry Morphew is, and the Suzanne Morphew case. The challenge would be, can you honestly put together a jury anywhere in the state of Colorado that they don't know? I mean, this is as big a news on your Fox affiliates in Denver as it is anywhere else in the state. And so, but I watched those two new defense attorneys, and I mean, they are good, and they threw a bunch of stuff at the judge that the prosecution was having to argue against during that appearance hearing. And I don't think they're going to slow down. I don't think they're going to stop. And like the case that they are most well known for in the true crime community, if they can put enough stuff up there and find a place where the judge made a mistake or the prosecution made a mistake, they could really get a much better deal for their client. And I think that has to be part of their strategy. Moving this has got to be part of their strategy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
A lot of folks are just talking about this problem in general of victimization, and boy, we've tried to do a bunch of videos on domestic violence and other kinds of things, and I would just encourage you all to go back to those. To those of you who have joined up today for the first time, thanks a lot. If you're not a member, please subscribe and hit the notification button and all of that so that you get our updates. We have really been fortunate lately. Lauren, if people want to come over to your channel and see, like you just did a great interview a few nights ago, where do they find you? And let's get them to go over and sub on your channel.
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. It's just type in Lauren Scharf. You should be able to find me. And then also follow my Twitter accounts. That's where I do the most up-to-date, like latest information about this case. I typically put it on Twitter first, and you can find me at Lauren Scharf TV. And then it's the same for my Facebook page. It's just Lauren Scharf, at Lauren Scharf TV as well.
That's great. Thanks, Lauren. And folks, I'm going to watch real closely the chats for a moment. And I'm constantly being educated by the back office. They said, once I say, please put your questions in, I have to wait at least 10 seconds so that they actually can make it through the secret web. So we'll give everyone a moment to ask Lauren a question or ask me a question. And please jump in. Somebody said, Lauren, when is part 2?
Good question. I'm working on it right now, and hopefully in the next few weeks, I will be putting out a part 2. So. Oh,
great. So, and I gotta just shout out Diana and NS. NS. I wonder what NS at Beach Girl just bought Deceive. Thank you so much, Diana. That's awesome. And Anna, I wanted to put that on. People were wondering where to find Tyson. Mm-hmm. Tyson, I hope he doesn't go away. He still comes up with some really good things, and he just has such a knack of getting people to talk to him. That's something you have too, Lauren. You got a nice ability to get people to talk to you. And folks, I make Lauren nervous because sometimes I say, okay, what can I share? And she just is like, don't even talk to me about this stuff.
No, it's not true.
Well, this is great. Let's give everybody their day back, Lauren. But anything else you'd like to say as far as what are you working on next in this case? I think what we are going to do is we're going to see the summer kind of glump along, and then in August it's going to be big business. But man, every day I just keep watching the newspaper, hoping somebody stumbles across an unmarked grave somewhere.
Yeah, that's still something I continue to look at whenever I hear of an unidentified body being recovered, if it's, a male or female, if it's any relation to where, Salida is, things like that. Your heart kind of stops a little bit whenever you hear that. And, you can go ahead. I think also, I have a lot of audio and some video that I haven't released that I hope to plan on releasing. I just want people to know what I know if I can, as much as I can. And so that's what I'll probably be posting that to YouTube when I can. So.
That's great. Now tell whoever's bugging you, I'll give you back in just 1 minute.
Okay.
Either get in the picture or back off.
I know. Do you want to meet my fiance?
Bring him in. Let's meet him.
Okay.
Maybe it's time for me to do the father's interview. And if you maybe, what's your name?
This is Michael.
Michael. Well, it's a good name, and I think with the right lighting, Michael, which is you in a chair with nowhere to go and a bright light in your face, I think we could figure out your deepest, darkest secret. Save Lauren from having to discover those over the course of your life. But congratulations to the both of you.
Thank
you.
You, Michael, have scored. So I hope you're worthy of
it. Yes, he is, very much so.
Well, good. Well, Lauren, thanks. And there are people here. One person just asked if you were ever scared in Salida when you were there, and I'm going to let you answer that. And then there's a lot of people wishing you a lot of well wishes. Michael, you better not mess up. That's all I got to say, because Lauren has a lot of people who love her. So
I won't. She's a good one.
Yeah. So I wasn't scared. No. I just thought, Barry Morphew is just a father. That's kind of just, he is a husband and he is a father, and that's just what I thought. And there were a couple times where I did get threats for covering this story and things like that. And myself and some of my family members, they were worried about me, but I'm still here, still doing what I'm doing, and loving every moment of it. So,
yeah. Oh, that, yeah. This is an interesting question. I don't quite understand. Maybe you can tell me if you understand what Angela is asking here.
You were treating
daughters differently. Angela, I apologize. I'm not quite understanding, and I would love to be able to respond to that, especially if I'm doing something goofy. And Kellyanne, thank you for that kind super chat. Lauren is always so gracious to come and jump on. And this one is interesting. You were very brave to talk to Barry. And no, I think you were doing your job. But what you were brave about was the day you were sitting in the parking lot and you got chewed out. That was a brave day. And I think that you are a brave soul in many regards. So let's see.
And I just, I came about it just saying, I want to help this family find their mom and their wife. That's how I looked at it. And that's, I wrote letters, I, talked to Barry on the phone, I texted him, things like that. And that was my main goal, was just to raise awareness and, help share the truth. So, yeah.
Liz asks, do you feel like the Morphew daughters are getting special treatment? There's actually a state law, and the judge actually referenced it in part of his order to keep this record sealed, where he almost cautioned or censored the DA a little bit and reminded them that the responsibility of government still is to protect the victims. We do a terrible job of that in many aspects, but if going a little too far in the hopes that it might protect those kids is what's happening here, and it just causes all the rest of us who just want to know to wait a little longer. I'm for it 100%. I just again, I just keep going back, folks, thinking. I remember I was dealing with a white supremacist who happened to be the nephew of the governor of our state, and he was committing all kinds of problems. And I remember the governor going on national TV and saying, you can pick a lot of things, but you can't pick your family members. You know, you can't pick your nephews and everything else. And so they deserve to be protected. I can't imagine what their life has been like the last year and a half, or maybe for much longer, if there has been abuse in the family. So, well, Lauren, we've gone over. Thank you so much. And to everyone who has been on, thank you. I'm going to give you the last word, Lauren. Anything you want to remind people of?
Just remember that, Suzanne is still missing, and there's, like, you pulled up that map of 1,700 cases that are either cold or people that are missing in the state of Colorado. I'm sure there's a lot more, since you made this, whenever that was. Just to remind folks that, if you see something, say something, who knows what that one tip could help law enforcement, could help bring closure to family members. Just remember that the people of the state, of this country, need to continue to be stewards to each other and help one another when, there's a lot going on in this world, and we need to help one another.
You're a good soul, Lauren Scharf. Thanks for your friendship. And maybe we ought to just in a couple of weeks, or if nothing happens, we'll just make sure that as August approaches, that we get together and keep this discussion going. Folks, watch for some videos. I've got a video coming out later. If you notice today, we send out a video on the Samuel Olson murder case, a horrible little crime of a beautiful little boy down in Texas. And I would hope that you'd go there. I also posted up 5 tips. It's a short 5-minute video, 5 tips to keep your children safe. Elizabeth Gregory, thank you so much. Part 2 is coming, and she will get on that. And AK, always stirring it up. You notice he said Lauren's a great person, but he didn't say anything about me. Thanks, AK. Sure appreciate your support over the last year. You're a good man. And to all of you folks, thank you so much for the support. Thanks for the financial support. Thanks for those of you who have joined in our channel memberships. Last night, we had all of our channel members on, and we had a chat where you could call in and ask questions personally, and we talked back and forth. And if you didn't get a chance, watch last night's choir practice. We had one of the stars of the play Hamilton playing Burr, and a well-known global musician on with the Adventures with Purpose guys. We were talking about suicide and the challenge of dealing with suicidal people when you're involved in this industry of public safety and now true crime and YouTubing. And it was a great night. But to all of you, thank you so much. Lauren, thank you so much. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.